pandemic continues. And I'm not talking about the flu virus. What I'm talking about is the internet and how it is destroying your focus. They say in the UK that 17% of people have experienced a form of depression. In the USA, they say 8.4% of people have. And I believe that statistic in real terms is probably higher than reported. Things are only going to get worse unless you change what I'm going to describe in this video. I saw a tweet the other day which really made me think. He said, our grandparents were addicted to cigarettes, our parents were addicted to sugar, and we are addicted to our phones. In order to 10x the quality of your life, we need to first understand the psychology that's pulling us into these addictive habits and these habits that are destroying our productivity. To do so, we need to understand our own psychology. So I'm going to break it down into covering the id, the ego, and then the super ego. These concepts will explain what it is that we are falling victim to and that's sabotaging our productivity, and then how we can change it to improve our quality of life. The id is in effect the monkey brain. So this is the part of your brain that is responsible for your basic instincts to seek shelter, food, water. That's what drives the things we need to do to survive. Your ego is the part of your brain that rationalizes what the id is telling you to do, what those basic instincts are, with conforming to society and the society that we live in. For example, if you were in a meeting, a very important boardroom meeting, and your id might be telling you that you're starving, get that sandwich out of your bag and start eating, but your ego is going to rationalize that and say, I don't think everybody here is going to appreciate me pulling out an egg salad sandwich and completely stinking out this meeting room. The boss probably won't be happy and I might lose my job. The way to think about those two concepts is the id is the horse and your ego is the rider. So the id wants to do certain things, but your ego as the rider controls it, keeps it away from running into the road, jumping into barbed wire, or doing things that will damage its health and that won't be good for it. Final element to this is our super ego. And our super ego is developed around about age 5. And that's what is responsible for our morality and essentially how we view the world and the person that we will aspire to be in terms of the decisions we make and from a moral standpoint. Put another way, this is the ego ideal. So it's what your ego aspires to be. It's the vision it has in its mind of who it wants to be in effect and who it wants to become. So the id is the devil that sits on one shoulder, super ego is the angel that sits on the other, and the ego is you in the middle trying to make the best choices you can in life and the best choices for yourself. What's happening today and what is destroying productivity is that people are becoming more and more susceptible to the id. So you would think it was the opposite as we become more developed, as we become more refined. But through our phones, social media, and all the other distractions that we have, we're actually servicing the monkey brain at a much quicker and faster level, meaning we're getting those dopamine hits faster and faster all the time and through much easier methods. We don't have to do hard things anymore to get a dopamine hit. In summary, we're opting for the easiest possible ways to seek gratification. An example is you want to connect with people. Humans are social beings and we need social connection, but it's much easier to just comment on something on Instagram or send an Instagram DM or like a picture to give you that feeling of being social. When in actual fact, what we crave, and that might give you a very short-term dopamine hit straight away, but it's not going to give you the same fulfillment that going for a walk with a friend would, or meeting a friend for a coffee and a chat would. And doing these types of things will inevitably leave you feeling depressed and feeling anxious. Everywhere we go these days, people are on their phones. I was in a waiting room recently and people are just so engrossed in their phones, and it's only really when we sit back and look at it that you realize how weird it is that we're so obsessed with these devices. And it all comes down to a marshmallow. So what am I talking about? It's the marshmallow test. You may have heard of this. If you haven't, what the marshmallow test is years and years and years ago, they took a group of children and they put all these children in a room on their own and they put one marshmallow in front of each child. And then they said, I've got to pop out the room. I've got a few things to do. I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes And if you haven't eaten that marshmallow, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. But if you eat that marshmallow, it's the only one that you're gonna get. And what they then did is they tracked these children to the next 20, 30 years of their lives. And they found that children who ate the marshmallow right away ultimately became less successful because they sought that rapid dopamine hit. The children that were able to wait the 20 minutes, to delay gratification and get 2 marshmallows, ultimately became more successful in life using all the items we normally use to quantify success, such as relationships, financial success, career. And really the lesson from this is, in order to become more successful, you need to reverse that trend. So you need to become more like the children who were able to wait for the second marshmallow, and you need to delay gratification. A good example of this is fitness. So we can turn on the TV, sit on the couch, put Netflix on and eat a load of candy, and we'll feel great straight away. But if you do that over a long period of time, you become overweight, you become extremely unhappy and unhealthy. Compared with going to the gym and lifting weights and eating healthy food, these things are not as easy to do, and it's going to take much longer to see the benefits and the payoff. But when you do, the results and the quality you get from it will be so much higher. And ultimately the same is true for anything you want to do in life, be that relationships or business. You have to wait a long time. For example, with my business, it's taken nearly 10 years to get a really big payoff from all that hard work I've done. So that's a lot of delayed gratification. There are many times within that period I wanted to just withdraw a load of money and waste it on a fancy car, but I had to keep reinvesting the money. And doing that for 10 years is a very difficult thing to do, to delay that gratification. So don't train your brain to make these impulsive decisions, to make quick and rapid decisions, and to seek gratification quickly. You have to train it to do the opposite. Get used to doing hard things. Get used to doing things where the payoff isn't going to come for a long time, and that will make you more successful. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. It's a little bit different from the usual content I produce, so please do comment below and let me know your feedback. If you'd like videos similar to this, if there's any areas of this you'd like me to dive into, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.